Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to the Leo Full Moon Ritual Guidance 2020, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is actually the eve of the full moon. However, you can start your rituals, your guidance, your magic in a day or so before the full moon, and definitely up through the 10th. And even on the 11th, we're still in some of that full moon energy. So do not worry, you can incorporate this guidance at any time. The full moon ritual focus tonight in terms of ritual guidance is going to be all about release. Since that's what full moons are about, they are about release. We want to look at some of the things that you need to release. And if any overwhelming messages come in terms of other areas where you need to focus your attention, I'm going to be sure to get that in as well. I'm going to be using multiple different decks. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait until I'm guided. But I'm going to start out with our central message coming from the Crystal Spirit deck. And I think I'm going to read the message of prosperity as well as the relationship message. I want to look at what it is we need to heal. I'm going to pull also maybe from Witch's Wisdom as well as the Witch's Kitchen. May look at a particular herb that you can drink or incorporate into your tea, or maybe into your food. And I may look at chakra guidance and anything else that I feel inspired to as it relates to maybe romance, love, and so forth and so on. Let me turn this heat off in the background. And let's just get started, okay? This will be the full guidance, whether you are a Patreon member or not. This is for my Patreon family, my beautiful butterflies in transition and transformation, as well as those of you who are a part of the YouTube family. You shouldn't, I do encourage you to join us on Patreon. However, Patreon is where you get exclusive content, up-levelers content, soul, heart, and spirit of a true CEO content. You get Wisdom Wednesdays content. You get Tarot Tuesday. You get the 2-card tarot vibe. You get the weekly energy readings. You get the full readings for each zodiac sign. I do post the partial reading, the first part of the zodiac monthly signs, but you get the full readings. You get so much more. We're working on the 11-day money manifesting challenge right now. It's going wonderful. And then we start on the 17th of February, the 30-day self-love challenge. So right here we have sodalite. Sodalite is a very popular crystal. You may often sometimes see it as sort of a lighter, whiter kind of crystal, but this is sodalite. Now, when you work with the energies of what you may see here, we are talking about the power of thought and the fact that you can transcend time and space and bring anything into your reality that you choose, provided you focus on it. So if you don't have sodalite, which you may not, you can take this picture and draw the energy of sodalite to you. You can download a picture and put it on your phone and draw the energy of sodalite to you. Do not be confined by a 3D, a third dimensional understanding in terms of how you can work with crystals, because you're actually unlimited. Remember, you are the magician. You are the alchemist. All right, so we have sodalite. So let's take a look at the message of sodalite, because this is what is also going to be guiding our reading. Let us see what we can take away from this particular message, all right? And I said I was going to read the relationship message as well as the prosperity message. So let's take a look, all right? This is a beautiful, beautiful crystal. All right, this is about inner knowing. You can tell this is blue, okay? So this is always associated with the third eye chakra. We are talking about inner knowing, intuition. We're talking about clear expression of your intentions, the way you visualize your life, the way you see your life, clarity of thought. I'm adding all this extra stuff because I'm a healer, and I know what the energy of crystals are, and I know what color represents. Intentionality. This is manifestation, but it's also listening to your higher guidance, to your inner divine wisdom. So already before we get started, you are releasing the energy of distrusting yourself and not listening to your intuition. Whatever's going on in your life right now, please listen to your intuition. I don't care what it is, if it's related to a job, if it's related to something that's going on in your relationship with your lover, with your spouse, even if it's with your divine life partner, whatever is going on, if it's happening with your parents, if it's something that you're feeling that you need to reach out for in order to enrich your life, trust yourself. Trust your inner guidance before you trust everything else. Trust me, divine feminines and divine masculines that are listening. For whatever comes up in your energy field, comes up through your heart, your inner being, your spiritual organ, it is worth investigating. Do listen, because when you listen, you have a greater sense of ease. Now, you don't confuse this with your emotions, your feelings. We're not talking about being all in your feelings and getting confused. I'm talking about the clear urgings and nudgings that come through your gut, that come through your heart center, that manifest as deep inner knowings. They are indisputable and they come from deep within, and oftentimes they are as well guided and reinforced by wisdom that comes from outside of you in terms of the signs and the different ways that the universe gives us what we need in order to propel us forward according to our soul's evolution. So please listen to your intuition. It's trying to tell us something. All right, so you're on point with that. And because I'm looking at these colors, I'm thinking it's telling you something about your love life. So you need to listen to it, okay? Listen to it. It's there for a reason. All right, so the message of this crystal is to be fully awake as you make choices, large and small, that will influence your well-being. It's when we fall asleep to our spiritual nature in connection with the universal consciousness that old habits return and we forget our commitment to personal transformation, okay? Solar light has appeared to help you wake up and notice whether you are becoming complacent and not following through as you promised yourself you would. So here we are also releasing some timiness. We're releasing this vacillating energy, just flip-flopping back and forth that causes us to let ourselves down. We're letting that go. You also know solar light sometimes can look similar to this, okay? Although this is selenite. Solar light also can have a color very similar to this. So we are definitely talking about crown chakra, faster energies, faster vibrations, all right? The relationship message is as such. Healing doesn't require perfection, but it does require that you remain awake to the truth that you are a divine, beautiful being, always connected to the conscious universe that wants the very best for you. Spiritual amnesia will send you circling back to old patterns you vowed never to repeat. The appearance of solar light spirit is a reminder for you to reestablish your sense of connection so that the conscious universe can guide you to where you need to be. Do not forget your worth, your values, and your truth. All right? If you're unsure of your next move to make, meditate. Meditate, meditate, meditate. As you remain present in the moment, you will move easily. You will move more easily. You'll avoid spiritual narcolepsy and falling back into old ways. And you know what spiritual narcolepsy is. Spiritual narcolepsy is all about falling into old ways and heedlessness. All right, so we're talking about not being spiritually asleep, paying attention to the signs around you, staying tapped in and tuned in to the messages that you need to in order to move forward in your life. I'm being called to look at this wisdom, which is wisdom deck. So let's take a look at what we have here. They don't make these cards for people with small hands like myself. But it doesn't matter. We get the wisdom anyway, right? So y'all know we pay the price when we do not we pay the price when we don't tap into our inner power, when we don't listen to our inner wisdom. We're so used to following a left-brained sequence in our logical mind in our life that we are having to actually work the muscle and build the muscle of our right brain. So that's what this is about. Now we have the wand here, the intention. This is to remind you to release any notions that you are a victim. Release any notions of powerlessness, and that whatever is going on in your life, that you have to be a receiver of it, and that you're on the other side of those circumstances no matter what they are. This card reminds you that you are a transmuter, that you can take that energy and transmute it into anything that you want. Remember always that your wands are your words. I always talk about being an alchemist and being a magician. And that's one of the reasons why we perform magic, because most of us are performing magic all day long, but we're not performing the kind of magic that's moving us forward. We're performing unconscious magic, and we're creating crap in our life that's not helping us. So this card is about helping you to remember to release feelings of being a victim, and remember to not live unintentionally. You must be living intentionally at all times, and this is going to be particularly important as you come into spring over the next few months. Okay, so whatever it is that you need to release over this ritual tonight and over the next day or two that is related to you blaming other people for where you may find yourself in your reality, or you blaming other people for, let's say for example, circumstances that you feel are outside of your control, you want to pull back from that. Okay, you want to make sure that you recognize that everything first started with a thought. Everything. I don't care what it is. Okay? The all is mental, and we exist within an even larger mind, and this is how we create our lives. So recognize that your words, your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, your perceptions, your attitudes are your wands, and you are creating in each and every moment. Be very intentional about what it is you want to create, whether it's a job you're trying to get, whether it's a relationship you're trying to manifest, whether it's more love in your life, more more alignment with regard to the kind of energy you find yourself around. You have to be intentional. All right, you have to take charge of your life, guys. We're living in a paradigm today that does not allow us to live well and to live in a higher vibration until we earn that, until we recognize the divine power that we have coursing through our veins, and until we start to live as divine creator beings. This is very important. Okay, we have a message that already came out. Inner child work. This came up for the 2020 self-love reading. Lots of inner child work needs to be done. This is going back whenever we have feelings of victimhood, you woe is me, what is happening to me, somebody did this, somebody did that, Mr. Charlie did this, my lover did that, my kids are doing this. All of those kinds of energies, that stuff almost always is based in us believing somewhere within the depths of who we are that things are happening outside of our control, and that things are happening to us. Nothing is happening to us. Oftentimes when we are in that space, before we come out of it, we recognize that there's a relationship between the way we were conditioned as children, or some of the experiences that we had in terms of emotional trauma, physical abuse. It could be any number of things, the belief systems that we inherited growing up. It can sometimes be transgenerational energy that is a part of our DNA. All of this stuff affects us. So this is saying you need to do the inner child work. You need to do the shadow work. This is not always easy, but I promise you it frees you when you can go back and rewrite your narrative and empower yourself. First of all, when you can go back and identify where you get some of these triggers from. And you can look at those situations and you can heal those situations and you can come to terms with those situations. You begin to see that your power, so much power and energy has been lost in these habitual patterns that go way back beyond sometimes what you can remember until you start working with this energy. So doing inner child work. And for some of us, it's releasing that inner child to be free, to have more playfulness in our lives, to invite more fun, more passion, more fulfillment. It's talking to some of us about bringing in more of a balance. And I saw the energy at the bottom of the deck, and I really just wanted to speak out to this. This is the energy of selling out. And this is the prostitution archetype, okay? And this has nothing to do with sexual prostitution. This is about selling out who you are for other things that are less important. It can be sometimes, say for example, you selling out what it is that you want, or speaking up about something because you are concerned about getting your paycheck at the job. So because you're concerned about getting your paycheck at the job and impressing Mr. Charlie, then you kiss his behind, or you kiss somebody else's behind, instead of standing up for what's right or standing up for yourself. That's what this card is about. Release the belief that other people control your provisions. The divine controls your provisions. Okay, the divine is at the root of everything that you are capable of co-creating in your life. Your provisions come from the divine, not other human beings. So there's no reason for you to sell yourself out and feel enslaved to other people. This is a very powerful message, and somehow Spirit is guiding me as I sit here. I keep looking over here at my book, and I'm going to read a message out of this book. We're going to use this as an oracle. If you haven't gotten my book, it's Manifesting Your Masterpiece, Self-Coaching and Daily Mindset Reflections for Up-Leveling and Living Your Best Life. You can get it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Let's take a look at what maybe the message for us is for this February the 9th full moon ritual. What is it that we need to release? All right. Be in the here and now as often as you can. In reality, past, present, and the future exist as one. Step into the grace of the present moment, as yesterday is an illusion and tomorrow is definitely not promised. You get where this is going, right? Okay? The past, okay, is not where your power is. Release this living business that's always in the past, drumming up the past, recreating this narrative that has not moved you forward. The past is the source of depression, and as well, release this need to always be in the future. That's where anxiety comes from, and in our culture, we accept anxiety, but anxiety is really a modern day form of insanity that has become acceptable. We are creating and living in a space of time that does not even exist. And we allow ourselves to create these ruminations and to live in these realities that actually affirm the fear and continue to block us in our life. So get out of the past. Stop worrying about the future and concentrate yourself in the here and now. Be grateful that you have the glory of God within you. Be grateful that you have life force energy coursing through your veins. Release this need to be constantly worried about what is going to happen and what happened yesterday that really has become an illusion. Where does it exist? Where can you go find yesterday? Let it go. Remember always that the universe is designed according to spiritual principles that you must be in accord with in order to live abundantly and manifest your heart's desires. One of those principles is the power of the now moment, presence. When you are mindful in the moment, you are open to the door of the field of pure potential. Everybody, the moment is where you create. Everything that you're experiencing right now in your life is a result of the past and what you created in the past. It is only in this here moment, right now, the moment of now. This is where you create your magic. You create your magic in now. You don't create your magic yesterday. You don't create your magic trying to worry about tomorrow and what Mr. Charlie's going to do and what the mess is they're talking about on the news that's going to befall everybody. It'll befall them because that's what they're creating, and that's what we're creating as a collective. But you get to, in your life, step into this here present moment and decide what it is you're going to bring into your life. In the unified field, nothing is impossible. We're talking about the God field. Find your way back to the present as often as you can. You create your future right now in this very moment. The very next moment of your future was just created. The question I'm posing to you here is, what future can you create right now in this moment? This is the April 21st message, okay? This book is a book of quotes. It's an easy read. It's not a chapter book. All right, let's take a look at the magical herb. What is an herb that we want to bring into our life? Help us release something that we need to let go of. Remember, herbs have connections, cosmic energies, the planets, other elementals. All right, so when we look at herbs, they affect us physically because they first affect us energetically. If you take a detox herb and it detoxes you and helps you go to the bathroom, it is purifying you spiritually of energy that you no longer need. It's cleaning you out. So you want to be able to look ahead into the inner meaning of something. I hear that heater again. I'm going to have to cut that off. It's going to be too noisy. Ooh, calm. That's probably valerian. It's chamomile. Yay! I was hoping that it would be a herb that we all have in our pantry, more than likely. Chamomile, okay? You know, chamomile is very relaxing. It's very soothing. It helps us to release anxiety. If you're doing a full moon ritual tonight, as you set your intentions to release the areas where you have played victim, as you set your intentions to embrace more of your intuition and release overthinking, as you set your intentions to release wounds from your past and to embrace more playfulness in your life, release anxiety, release the things that keep you up at night, release the things that keep you concentrated in where? The past, pointing to the book, and the future. Drink a cup of chamomile. You can even make it into iced tea and integrate chamomile into your rituals. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, energy at the bottom of the deck. We have elegantly progress. Okay, if you release those things, it'll move you closer to progress. It'll help you to move forward in your life. You'll be able to measure from whence you've come. You've got to let the anxiety go. Seems like we're getting a lot of information in this reading about letting go of anxiety. Okay? Letting go of worry. Anxiety comes about as a result of fear. Anxiety is really based on fear. And I always say fear is about being separated from spirit. Fear is about being disconnected from this. Your inner wisdom comes from the divine realm. If you embrace your inner wisdom and then you take inspired action, which you're guided to take from the divine realm, you have very little to worry about. You actually are in a space where you allow your mind to serve you. Okay, your mind serves the will of your heart and the will of spirit, rather than it being the other way around, which is how most of us tend to operate in this particular world, this particular paradigm, because that's how we have actually been conditioned, okay? Pull a few more cards here. Our video, wow, is already at 23 minutes. Okay, let's take a look. All right, we have two. All right, I can already see where that's going. Bottom of the deck energy, compassion. All right, we have compassion at the bottom of the deck. But let's take a look at what these top of the deck energies are, because they will affect how we read the bottom of the deck. Physical health is on the table. Taking care of your vessel, honoring your temple, okay? This is releasing things that do not contribute to your vitality, your strength. This is also releasing things that have to do with a negative body image. Maybe you stand in the mirror when you get dressed and you spend half your morning criticizing the way you look in the mirror instead of loving and caressing on your body and being thankful of the way your breasts have given you the milk to feed your children over the years, or the way your womb space has allowed you to birth babies and birth other creative projects and things that germinated within your womb space, which is where your most powerful energy is. I used to be in that space. Made a lot of mistakes as a result of criticizing myself and my body. This may affect you if you are someone who doesn't take the time to love on your body. There's scientific research now that is telling us that as we love on our bodies, our molecules change and the energy at the subatomic level changes, and we can transform our health in this way. Everything is mental, everybody. The all is mental and the all is mind. I keep telling you that you are a alchemist. You are a magician. Get your damn wine out and do your magic work. I'm so serious. Join us on Patreon, y'all, because we're doing the 17-day self-love challenge starting on the 17th. It's not a 17-day. It's a 30-day self-love challenge. Patreon.com/Tanisha Ali. But body image. First of all, release the things that are not helping you with your health. Whether it's negative food, whether it's the food that you take in, your soul and spirit food, whether it's what you're subjecting your body to. If you happen to be in a relationship where you are physically at risk, it's time to let that go. Anything that is jeopardizing your physical health will eventually take you out of here. Okay? It can be a slow death. It can be a long cumulative situation that adds up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Whatever it is that you need to do for your health, do it. You're working too hard. Okay? Release frustration, release the race, release the need to control, release the excess fire that you have in your energy field. Let it go, y'all. We have this image, this message of anxiety, calm, and all of this that's coming up in the reading, this worry energy. Okay? Everything has a divine unfolding. Just follow inspired action. Just follow your intuitive intellect and take inspired action. That's all you have to do. Be calm and relax. As long as you are taking inspired action, you are constantly moving towards whatever is a part of your soul's evolution. Do that. And in that message comes this message of compassion. Okay? Be more compassionate to yourself. Release the need to be so harsh and so judgmental and so willful about everything. Relax and move more into your heart energy. So we're talking about really, in this reading, coming into more of a spiritual and energetic place. Recognizing what our power is to manifest the things that we want in our lives by working with our energy. Okay, so this is very, very important. I know we're getting a little close to time, so I'm just going to pull a couple more cards, find out what Spirit has to say for us out of the romance deck. Okay? And then I want to read from the power of love as well. So on the table so far, y'all, we have releasing those things that are destructive to our health, releasing control and the need to try to mostly be anxious about what is on the forefront or what it is that's going to happen tomorrow or sometime in the future. Releasing the distrust that we have of not listening to our own inner guidance. Releasing this victim consciousness that causes us to forget that our wands, our words are our wands, and that we can manifest all sorts of wonderful things by changing the way we think and by changing the focus of our attention. By being very intentional and releasing the pain of our inner child as well. We already had something to fall out. Let's take a look at this. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. And then we also have express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. So we got a couple of messages here for some of you all. You're holding back what is in your heart in terms of communicating something that you need to communicate to someone you love. And often when we do that, it is because we are concerned about what other people will think instead of being concerned about the love that we nurture in our hearts. I always say that when it comes to you expressing love, provided that that love is sincere and that is what is truly in your heart, you cannot go wrong. Why? Because love should be unrequited in the sense that love requires nothing. Whoever said that there was a problem if love was one way? How can you lose by telling the truth? Love needs nothing in return. So wherever it is that you're failing to express your love, to someone that you care about, regardless of who it is. Release the stubbornness, release the unforgiveness. Say what is in your heart, because that is not going to change regardless of what the other person does. That is your first message. The other message is religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Now, for some of you, this is talking about how differences in views may be standing in your way, and you need to release these. Some of you are maybe on opposite ends in terms of your spiritual journey or your religious path. These issues or these concerns may have been in the way. You're being called to let this go. For whomever this message resonates for you, you're being called to remember that love conquers all things, and that these factors do not have to stand in the way. You will have differences in viewpoints about a lot of things, and spiritually and emotionally mature people allow other people to live their lives in a way that allows them to spiritually and developmentally grow and to evolve. We do not stand in each other's ways. Instead, we model the example of how what it is that we believe or how it is that we see life unfolding is working for us. That is the best way to show other people how your life philosophy is working for you, not to sit back and criticize and to point the finger. People do not have to be identical. We need contrast in order to derive meaning. So if you're allowing religious or spiritual factors or differences in viewpoint to get in the way, get beyond that. Express the highest end of what is actually true, which is love, and which is commonality, and which is the higher vibratory frequency of acceptance and gratitude. That's what's more important than being right or worrying about what other people think or worrying about who made the first move if something needs to be resolved. This can be related to your family, your parents, your children, your lover. It doesn't matter. Wherever there are ideological differences, put them to the side and bring love to the situation. So we are releasing ideological differences. We are releasing this need to control everything and be out of balance and always be in our lion energy too much. We are releasing anything that is not serving our physical health. We are releasing the separation that we have from our inner knowing, which causes us not to listen to our intuition. Whatever it is that's knocking on your door as it relates to something that you feel, you better listen to it. We're releasing anything that causes us not to realize and recognize that we are the power. We own the power, and that our wands are our words, and our words are our wands. We're doing any inner child work and releasing the shadows of those things that have held us back. And we're releasing this need to be overly judgmental with ourselves and with other people. And we're exercising more compassion. And somehow I feel these two may be related. Okay, that is my guidance for you. So anything, and of course we are drinking chamomile to slow us down and bring us into the present moment, whereby we can reflect on all of these different things. This is just such beautiful, beautiful energy for our full moon. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So sit down, have your cup of tea. All right, and meditate on these different things with this full moon energy. Set some intentions for how you're going to take charge of your life and take it in the direction you want, whether it be with your health, whether it be in your relationships, whether it be getting therapy or doing your inner child work or whatever it is. Slow down and find presence and healing in the present moment, not tomorrow, but now. Join us on patreon.com/Tanisha Ali. Sending much love your way. Bye.